All right, let's try a 3 by 3. Find the determinant of the matrix 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, negative 1. So to find the determinant of a 3 by 3, you pick a row or a column to expand across. We're going to do this problem twice. The first time we'll go the long way. The second time I'll tell you the shortcut because we have to see where we're headed first. So for all intents and purposes, I'm going to say let's expand across the first row 2, 3, 6. So the numbers that the row that you're expanding across become coefficients. So I'm going to say 2, 3, 6. So I'm picking the first row. We could also pick a column. It does not matter, but just so we're all doing the same thing for now, I'm just going to say the first row. All right, and now there is some witchcraft here. There's this magical sign chart that if you clap your hands, it appears. Where there's a, thank you, there's a plus in the top right, and then an alternate sign. Magical sign chart. I forgot what these numbers are called. It begins with a C. Co something. I'll look it up later. After you pick your row or a column and you write down the coefficients, you put the corresponding sign in front of these coefficients, no matter what that coefficient originally was. So since we picked 2, 3, 6, and that corresponds to the first row, 2, 3, 6, or plus minus plus in this case, that means this will be a plus 2 minus 3 plus 6. So put your coefficients and then put those signs in front of your coefficients. If, for instance, you had picked the second row instead of the first row, then you would have said minus 2 plus 3 minus negative 1. So these signs go in front of these signs no matter what they are. But we picked the first row. Once you have your coefficients, once you have your signs, this goes away forever until you do the next problem. Okay. So now what's going to happen is you're going to make smaller 2 by 2s. So these big numbers become coefficients for smaller 2 by 2s. To figure out what goes in those 2 by 2 determinants, it all depends on what row you originally picked. So this 2 here relates to this 2 in the first row, first column. So if we were to take out the first row and the first column, what resulting 2 by 2 are we left with? Good. And now this negative 3, I said this negative 3 corresponds to this 3. I said this 3, why do you hate me? Which is the 1, 2 entry, first row, second column. If we took out the first row, second column, what 2 by 2 are we left with? Good. So this 6 corresponds to the 6, that's the first row, third column. So if we took out the first row, third column, what would we be left with? Good. So in summary, you would pick a row or a column to expand across. Depending on the row or the column, those become the coefficients of the smaller 2 by 2s. And then this magical sign chart appears that it goes in front of these coefficients. After you've done the sign charts, though, that sign chart disappears. You take out the corresponding row in a column, and that gives you the smaller 2 by 2s. Now that we have the smaller 2 by 2s, we repeatedly use the AD minus BC formula. So for instance, nope, I got excited. This first one says 2 times 3 times 5 minus negative 1 times 1. So AD minus BC. Is that okay? Minus 3 times 2 times 5 minus negative 1 times 0. And what's the last setup? So after that, it's just arithmetic. Please be careful. I have no problem, because for this test, you'll have a calculator. If you threw that all into your calculator, got a number. Would anyone like to share their magical number? I got 14. You got 17 for the whole thing? Okay, all right. So this would be 2 times 16 minus 30. So minus 3 times 10 plus 6 times 2. So 32 minus 30. That is 14. Is that okay? So again, it does not matter what row or what column you expand across, you should still get 14 for the determinant. So with that stated, what's the easiest coefficient to work with? Easier, 0. Because 0 times anything is 0. So you might as well pick a row or a column that has a 0, because that means that's one less determinant you have to figure out. So if you pick the first column or the last row, you would still get the same answer. So let's do it again. Do you want to pick the first column or the last row? It does not matter. First column it is. Rows or columns? Have I ever lied to you before that you know of? All right, let me move this over here. So if we use the first column, you go up there. The coefficients would be 2, 2, 0. Do you have to write the 0? No. But look, you get to put like a little smiley face in there and a little smiley face in there. It's your choice. And then what magically appears? Very good. Your sign chart. I have to look up what those are called. I can't remember. What sign goes in front of the first two? Positive. Oh. There's a plus here. What sign goes in front of the second two? And what would have gone in front of the 0, excuse me? Positive. And what happens to the sign chart? Goes away. I never loved you. The first 2 corresponds to the 1, 1 entry. So if we take out the first row and the first column, what 2 by 2 are we left with? Oh, I should have made you guys use the last row. There's a joke in there. Darn it. Take the negative 2 corresponds to the 2, 1 entry. So take out the second row, first column, we're left with. And again, we do not have to do the 0 because who cares what that's in that determinant. It's just going to turn out to be 0. Questions? All right, so we're going to have 2 times 3 times 5 minus negative 1 times 1 minus 2 times 3 times 5 minus 6 times 1. I wonder what the answer is. It's 14. Just check it because you should get 2 times 16 minus 2 times 9. Yep. 32 minus 18 is 14.